Session, ma. Sesha Bharat,
Yes, ma'am.
start the
Yes.
session, ma.
Welcome speech. A pleasant evening to one and all present here. I take pleasure in welcoming you the all for today's webinar. Introduction to low code application development using Medix. Let's invoke the blessings of Almighty for successful conduct of the event along with the blessing of Chairman Late Sri D. Sudasanam on behalf of SA Engineering College, our respected college chairman Sri D. Duraisamy, our secretary Sri Dasadran, our correspondent Sri S. Amarnath, director Sri Sabrinath, our beloved principal, vice principal, head of the department, professors, faculties, and last but not the least, students of our institute. I extend my warm welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Jayasri, Ms. Vaishnavi, who possess expert knowledge on the field web development, and also welcome our beloved audience, the student of schools and polytechnics. About our college, let me let me talk about pleasure to say a few words about our institution. SC Engineering College was established during the year 1980 to 1990 by Durasamy Educational and Charity Trust. With an overall experiences of 23 years, our college is an autonomous institution that is affiliated to Anna University, Chennai, and approved by AICT Delhi. The college is well equipped along with the various facilities for the working and learning members of the institution, with 5 lakh square feet of constructed area including classrooms, seminar halls, laboratories including departments, library, central library, workshop, and associated facilities. In recognizing the high quality policies of our college being awarded ISO 9001 2015 certificate, our college provides 10 UG programs and 6 PG programs. All under our graduate programs are audited by National Board of NBA Delhi and NAC certificate with A graded. The college provides a high standard education by providing a wide career and world class academic facilities, employing high qualified and experienced faculties and creating a ambience of conduct quality education. And once again, I welcome you all for joining us. Now I hand over the session to resource persons.
Thank you. Happy evening, everybody. I'm Jayshree.
And I'm Vaishnavi. Let's please take a moment to share the screen. Thank you for joining us on this session. We hope to feed you with utmost knowledge as possible. So let us get started. What is web development? We all know the definition of web development in the technical terms, but what is it actually? Let me put it into simple words. It's developing websites using HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, etc. for being used on the internet or the intranet. A website can be either a simple one-page site or it could be an incredibly complex web application. When you view your website on a web in a browser, it is all because of the processing in the web development. Web development is one of the most interesting areas one can work in. You get to be creative as you want to produce the desired output, and it is not hard as it might look like. It does has its own hardship and ease.
Next, we will see about how web development is broken down into sectors. Before moving to that, I would like to distinguish and make things clear about who is a web designer and who is a developer. Here, if you see this flow chart, is mind map of web designer and web developer. A web designer exclusively focus on the appearance of the website, but the developer focus on the actual content of it. For example, when you register your details in a website, getting the information from you or providing a space for you, type the information is all done by the developer. Whereas the appearance, whether the form should be contained in a box or which side of the page should it appear, is all designed by the web designer. Let's start with who is web developer. Web developer is programmer who is specialized in development in the World Wide Web applications using client-server model. They are also responsible for designing, coding, modifying websites from layouts to function and according to a client specifications. Web developer usually just focus on few languages. It can either be front-end programming like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or server-end programming like PHP, Ruby, Java, or .NET. Now, we will be move to split ups of web developer. First is front-end development. Front-end development is known as client-side development. So it mostly involves programming and all the public-facing elements as part of the website design. They often have to collaborate with web designers. They must also possess the knowledge and skills in languages such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the three layers of front-end, and these are visible to users. The next is backend developer. Backend is usually referred to as hidden layer of the website, as they are away from the user's eyes, and everything that works are at the server end. For example, registering your details to create an account. A backend developer must possess strong programming skills because the backend layer forms a dynamic connection between the front end and backend. Also, the programmer need to be known at least one of the following languages: SQL, Java, Python, PHP, along with server-side framework such as Node.js. Finally, the full stack developer. You can either work with front-end or back-end or together with both of them. That is full stack developer. A full stack developer is a person who possesses the knowledge and skills of both front-end and back-end, along with a good understanding of how web works at each and every level, including setting up and configuration Linux or Windows servers or coding server-side API. API is nothing but application programming interface. Running the client side of the app using JavaScript, operating and querying databases, structuring and designing of web page. This is all about who is a web developer.
Now we come to the web designer. The work of web designer is to create layouts for the website which should be visibly pleasing to the visitors. It is nothing but the web designer focuses on the appearance of a website, what color should be given, or what structure it should be built in. It is critical in making sure visitor stays a long time. And a web designer analyzes the latest web designs, respective principles, norms followed what the user expects when visiting a website. They are also responsible for the user settings, responsive design, content management, where to place what. If you see, these are the two things when it comes to, there are two things when it comes to web designing. One is UI designer, the other is UX designer. So let us get started with UI designer. Who is a UI designer? UI designer is no one but user interface designer. They basically deal with the user's interaction. They make sure users can interact with elements in the website at ease. The user interface is everything that the user sees when they access a website, and it needs to be fixed in a manner so that it fits the user's expectation and workflow. So coming next to the UX designer. UX designer is no one but user experience designer. They make sure that the website is able to keep the visitor engaged and make the processing smooth. For example, by entering your credit card details in Amazon website, you see how user-friendly and easy it is to type all your information in the given column and save it for future use. They run complex tests and restructure the website to keep UX optimal, that is, user experience optimal. Next is Next, when we combine the work and skill set of a user interface designer and a user experience designer, we get a separate profile called the visual designer. So what they do is a combination of the work of UI and UX designer and create an interface that is both visually pleasing and simple to use by the user. They put together creativity and programming at work to get the desired results. So usually people get the wrong idea of UX and UI being the same. But I hope that we have cleared that confusion over here and given a clear-cut explanation. So this is all about web development. So let us go see a simple demo program where you'll be receiving the knowledge of HTML, CSS, PHP as a part of backend and database connectivity. So I ask Ms. Jayashree to continue the session with HTML and CSS.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Let's get started with coding. Hope you all enjoy it. So the tools we will be using is Notepad++, WAMP server, Google Chrome. Notepad++ is for typing the HTML code. WAMP server, it's a window web development platform which allows a user computer to act as a server system. Google Chrome, we all know it's a browser. It will be user to run our website using WAMP server. Now let's create front end of web page. Is that to create a registration form. First, we will write the basic structure of our HTML. We save this file as index.html. So we all know this is the basic structure of our HTML program. Let us start by creating the form first. Okay. We are giving the divided tag. Create dividers for the input. I'm sorry. Okay.
So if we see over here, we are creating a form. Inside a form, we are dividing it into sections in order to get inputs in a pleasant way, like to make it appear in a pleasant way. So for that, we are using a paragraph inside the form. We are using a paragraph tag in order to give the title of the form. Here, class is nothing but a name given to the particular HTML element. And align over here is an attribute that is also called as inline CSS. Element inline CSS is nothing but CSS is actually cascading style sheet, which is used to create styles for our HTML code, like giving like aligning it on the left corner or right corner of the web page, from giving colors to the font, or changing the font style, or giving or underlining it as if it's important or something. So BR is nothing but a break tag. And that is an interesting fact I would like to share with you all. It is if you want to make a particular statement or a text in bold letters, you can use the tag B, or you can also use the tag strong. Both the tags are of the same similar or of the same similar or for the similar purpose.
Just a minute, Vaishnavi.
Oh yeah. So now we are creating a input tag in order to get an input from the user. Again, class here is nothing but a name given to the particular HTML tag. And if you see over here, font face is nothing but you can give the desired or whichever font style you like on that space, which will appear on your website. We are also giving separate dividers for customer details, that is the heading, and all the three inputs. And for all the three inputs, we'll be giving the class name as class value as controls. The purpose of giving this class and this class attribute is to use it as a reference for our CSS. And type attribute is nothing but letting the HTML code or the website know that the input that's going to be received is either text or number, or it can be password. It's more like defining a data type in our regular programming, where we'll be saying int for numbers, integer numbers, and character for characters. So, such like we are going to give type over here for the inputs we are going to receive. And placeholder is nothing but it's an attribute which will appear on the input box, and while placing your cursor and when you start typing it, the particular text will start disappearing. People might have come across it while registering for Facebook account or Gmail account or something like that. So we will be receiving three important inputs from the user for the registration purpose. What we are creating here is the registration form. We'll be creating the HTML along with the CSS, and we'll be connecting with the database and fetching the details from the database. And for database connectivity, we'll be using PHP. PHP is nothing but personal homepage, and which we are going to access through WAMP server. Since WAMP server actually provides you with various applications like PHP, MariaDB, and Apache 24, etc. The purpose of giving CSS is to make the HTML or make the website look more appealing to the visitor. See, if we give if we actually execute a HTML file without any CSS in it, that might look so plain and it might not be very appealing to the user or the visitor. So that is the purpose of using CSS. It is also called a style sheet actually. CSS, sometimes people mention or refer to it as a style sheet. The purpose of BR tag. Okay, the BR tag is nothing but a break tag. While typing, what to say, while giving a content inside a HTML page, you have to break it into sentence. You cannot simply type into a lengthy sentence and give it as such. Maybe I'll show you an example of why we are using BR tag and the purpose of it actually. If we don't give a BR tag, it might appear beside, like aside to each input. Like they may appear beside each other, next to each other, like as if three persons are sitting together in a row. If there are any other queries in between, if you want to ask any doubts, kindly please feel free to do it. So we are giving a button over here. Since it's a form, we have to type each and every input. We have to give the inputs and submit it. Only then the form will be generated. What is H1, H2 tag? Yeah, H1, H2 tags are nothing but heading tags. Okay, the purpose of it is actually uh, to actually make the size of the particular text given inside the tags bigger according to its mentioned number. Like H1 is the biggest size of the heading tag, and H6 it's up to like it's from H1 to H6, and H6 is the least size, and H1 is the biggest size. It is usually given for headings, because not all the time you can go and mention like size equal to, which is size is again an attribute which you'll be giving for text or even for other images and stuffs. Yeah, there you have to give the value of how much, like giving, you'll be giving a number like in percentages or in other forms. I hope I made it clear. If at all needs, please let me know. I'll make it even more clearer to you. And thanks for asking questions in between. We are really happy to clear your doubts. So let us now get started with our CSS. Usually, here we are actually using internal CSS. An internal CSS will be given inside the head tag. So let us see how the HTML page looks without CSS first, so that it will be very clear to you people that what is happening and what are the changes that will be made or that will be seen, visibly seen after giving CSS. This is how it looks. The purpose of giving the break tag was to make the next column or the input type to come to come on the next line. If we don't give it, for example, let us change it and show it to you again. Mm, so let us refresh and see how the page appears. Oh, okay. Since it's a form, it appears as such, I guess. Okay. Maybe we'll change something else and we'll show it to you again. Uh, Actually, it is visible to me. Can you refresh and see if the screen is visible, Mr. Bhupati KB? Yeah. Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yes, screen is visible.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Madesh Mehta. Okay, we'll attach a picture and show you how it works. Well, there is actually so many methods to do it, and one of the method is using image tag. Image tag can be used to upload a picture, or actually we can even give a background image to our website as desired. They should refresh it now.
For web development only, we are using HTML, ma'am.
Sorry, I can't hear you properly. Can you repeat it again, please? What was your question, Rajesh?
For web development only, we are using HTML, ma'am.
Yes. HTML is actually used for web development.
And app development, ma'am.
For app development, we'll be using Java and other applications. Like we even use a framework called actually we use this actually application like application or tool like Android Studios and Eclipse.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you see over here, we didn't give any break tag or paragraph tag. What paragraph and break, the difference between paragraph and break is paragraph makes sure that all the content stays inside, stays as if appears as if it's a paragraph, and breaks the sentence. Like we'll show it to you again. So we are giving a break tag in front of just right, and we are going to save it and refresh the web page again. Let us see what happens. See, now the sentence or the statement or the text appears on the next line. So the purpose of the break tag is to break the sentence from where it is and to bring it to the next line. I hope I'm clear. If at all, if you have any doubt, you can actually ask me. Which code editor is best for development? Actually, you can even use code block or bracket. But what we are using today is the basic tools, like which will be available for everyone without installing any external file for creating a HTML. Even Notepad++ is not needed, but the purpose of using it is to make clear like the closing and opening of the tag, whether we have given it or not. Because when we start typing big codes like with number of lines, sometimes we miss out to close the tag, open tag. So in order to that, we'll be using tools such as Notepad++ or Bracket or code blocks.
We can also use the Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text. Here you can see my Visual Studio Code and Sublime Text 3.
So now she'll be showing you how it looks like. So this is how it looks like. Much easier to understand what's going on, where is what, and what we are typing.
Yes. It actually looked like this.
It is pretty easy to detect without even debugging it or without running and seeing what appears or not.
You can run like this. Okay. I didn't completed my code, so that's why it simply looked like this.
It was just a sample code. It's okay.
And here my Visual Studio Code. I have issues in that, so I'll show you later. Okay.
So now let us remove all those texts which we gave for some explanation purpose, and let us move to CSS. Are there any other doubts? Just in case, just drop it on the comment box, or you can unmute and ask your doubts anytime between the session or after the session. Hmm. So now we are starting with internal CSS. As I told you before, here you can visibly see the difference. That is, inline CSS is nothing but the attributes, style attributes which we give inside HTML tag is called inline CSS, and a style tag, like a style which we will be defining inside a head tag, is internal CSS. So here we have we are using style tag in order to let the HTML code know that it's it's a CSS. It's going to be it's the internal CSS of the HTML program. Again, the type attribute is to let know that it's a CSS CSS code. We can directly mention the body tag, as it doesn't, we need not have to give any class name, class and values to it. For body tags, or for other tags such as actually I'm not getting any other tags in my mind. As far as body tag, if it comes to my mind, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, background repeat is nothing but whatever you give as a background, like color or say image, it should not be repeated. For that purpose, we are using the attribute background repeat. And background attachment is we are giving that it's fixed. Now size of the background. Cover, which means it has to cover the whole page. Next, we are going for block. If you see over here in the button tag, we have given the name of the class as block. So it is used as a reference in the CSS. So here we are giving other attributes like the width of it. Uh, Once we give the width as 100%, it actually appears on the entire page. The
What is
button
the
is
code,
here.
ma'am? Background
Sorry,
color. What is
sorry.
the code, ma'am? Background color. Ash 4 CA
Okay,
50.
it is nothing but we have certain codes for colors in HTML. Actually, not only in HTML, you can as well use it commonly for other programming languages as well. It is like computer readable codes or something like that. Um, Let us show you actually what it is in Google Chrome actually. Jayashree? Yeah,
Hexadecimal codes, ma'am.
kind of, yeah. But
Okay.
wait, let me actually visually make it clear to you. Since we have so many combinations of colors, using number combination is one of the method to for the system to understand what color should be displayed. For that purpose, we are actually using these codes. Yeah, as you said, it's a hexadecimal code, yes. And the purpose of using hash is to mention that it's going to be a color. Yeah, you can see over here. The colors, those don't have any names or like we say that it's in between faded yellow or in between like faded yellow and like actual yellow. We cannot like name it with another name. You might not remember it, right? For that purpose, we are using hexa like codes instead of names. Not all colors have a name. So there are so many other colors too, not just these, but there are other colors too. It's basically combinations of colors of regular like red, green, blue. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. If at all means, you can please feel free to ask. I'll definitely explain it up to my knowledge. I'll give my best. Yes, Naresh, you raised your hands. Is there anything you want to ask? Yeah, even it is a tool actually. Yeah, actually. But mostly we use those kind of tools like in Paint or others like on Word document to uh, pick a color from a particular what is it from a particular range. Oh, nice, that's nice. We are using hover over here in order to make the button look like a responsive button. Like when you go over the button, it will appear as if it's been touched. It will show it to you while during the execution. We can always give those size values or padding values in form of percentage or in form of pixels. Both are acceptable. So there are totally three types of CSS, that is cascading style sheets. We have explained the two of it. One is inline style sheet, the other one is internal style sheet, and the last one is external style sheet, which will be showing you at the end. Since we are running out of time, we even have to start with database connectivity and PHP coding as well. So by giving the attribute align, the form is going to be center placed.
And this is our final output by HTML and CSS.
In Chrome app only you are using HTML, ma'am.
No, you can use any browser, any latest browser actually, because HTML supports any browser, even Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge. You can use any browser.
Also,
There is no
Firefox.
restriction for using a particular browser alone. If you are going to use HTML5, which is an advanced version of HTML, you have to focus on the latest versions of browsers because it might not support the older version browsers. So
In which location we are typing that program, ma'am?
Notepad.
we have typed and stored it blankly over for explanation purpose. We have stored it over the desktop, and PHP and where the PHP codes. That is in just a while. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, Vaishnavi will take over PHP connectivity and database. Vaishnavi?
Yes, thank you, Jayashree. So trying to looks like and it's design. We show sample. We'll get it with our PHP coding and database connectivity. So for that, we'll be using app server. Let me share my screen.
We can also view our code by clicking inspect. Uh,
So is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Vaishnavi.
Okay. So now let us get started with PHP programming and database connectivity. For that, we'll be using a WAMP server. So where to install it from? Actually, you can browse it. You can use any version of WAMP server. There is no um, version limitation or something like that. So here, I have installed it from source code that shows that I have actually clicked it or went inside the website. I have already downloaded and installed it. So after installation, you'll be finding an icon on your desktop like this. And by clicking it, your WAMP server starts running. And when it is green, it indicates that all the services are running. That is Apache, PHP, MariaDB, and so on. So now let's get started with database connectivity first. And before that, actually, let us make a little change in our HTML program. That is, at the place of form, we have to give two more attributes, which will redirect it to the database connectivity, and database end. So I have already stored it inside my laptop. Just show it to you. And let me. See, if you see over here, I have given two other attributes on the form tag. One is action, another one is post. While clicking the button, submit button, it automatically invokes this action. Okay, the method is post. So the are posted and all the input which will be writing. Writing have to connect database. For that, we have first we'll be writing. We'll be opening the tab. And next it will be to create will use variable. First variable is host. It is nothing but we are going to give the variable values so that it lets the PHP know that it's the username password of the PHP database end. And the host is a local host. User root. PHP is actually pretty simple if you see for like connectivity and purposes, and it's widely used among software companies now. We also use other connective methods like using Microsoft Excel and stuff. But today we'll be using PHP because it's pretty easy to work with. I'm not giving any password because for the local host user root, there is no password. It's the default setting. Even if you download the WAMP server and run the PHP myadmin, you'll be you can give the very same thing and run it. Your DB is nothing but your database name. Whatever database you are going to create, that name we'll be providing it over here. So I'll be giving my name as cus details, that is customer details. So next variable is our connection variable, where we'll be using a function called my SQLi connect underscore connect with all our other variables inside it. Post. It gives a true or false output like other functions. And to check whether the connection is made or not, we'll be writing a if-else condition over here. If-else is pretty much like other languages here also. If the variable name, which will be containing the value 1 or 0, that is true or false in it. If the value is valid, this particular if statement will be executed. Echo is nothing but it actually prints whatever statement or text or number which we are going to give inside the single quotation of it. It's more like print statement. So I'm giving here DB connected, mentioning that the database has been successfully connected. And I'm also going to give a break tag since we'll be giving whether the registration is successful or not. So for that, it should appear on the next slide, not on the same slide. It might not look appealing. So else condition, echo, DB not connected. You can give any statement over here. It works exactly like a print statement. Sorry, I forgot to get a semicolon over here. Okay, now we are closing our PHP. Okay, I'm going to save it as dbcon. Always remember to give an extension PHP at the end, indicating that it's a PHP file. I have already created a theme, so I will just place it inside some other folder.
It's like a directory, ma'am.
Not exactly, actually. Actually, I'm not getting your question properly. Can you repeat it again?
It's like a directory, ma'am.
Directory in the sense? No, it's not like a directory or something. It's a part of the coding, actually. It's a program.
Like Java and Python, ma'am.
Yes, exactly. Like Java and Python. It's a PHP program. It's a language.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I've saved it. So before moving to the record.php, that is to register our given input, we'll see how the WAMP server works and how to actually open it. So for that, we'll be giving, you can directly open the WAMP server by typing WAMP server, or you can use the IP address that I'm going to show you now. Over here, 127.0.0.1, which indicates you to the local homepage, localhost homepage. This allows your system to act as a server-side system. So if you see over here, I have no project over here or a directory over here that I have created for my particular program or a web page codes. So yeah. So to go to the PHP MyAdmin, as I told you before, it provides n number of applications like PHP and all that. You can see over here it has a tool called PHP MyAdmin. So we'll be going inside it. So this is how our PHP MyAdmin will look like. We don't have to, as I told you before, the default as default we don't have any. Sorry about that. Yeah, we don't have any password for the username root. So we'll directly enter go, which will allow you to enter into the PHP MyAdmin database. As we know, here in our code, we created, we actually named the database as cust details. Always don't forget the exact name of the database so that you don't mess it up. So now we'll be creating a database. PHP MyAdmin is seriously a very user-friendly and user-friendly application. You don't have to type codes to actually create database like in what you do in RDBMS or regular SQL. You can actually use this tool to easily use it. So here I'll be giving my database name, that is cust details, which means customer details. I'll get create. The database has been successfully created. Now we have to create a table for our database. So To create a table for our database, first we'll start with programming and we'll come back to our table creation. Okay. So again, we should start with our PHP tags in with PHP file. We are going to include our database dbcon PHP, that is our connectivity file, into this PHP file. Include is a function that allows you to include the file inside this one. Like it's more like including a header file. It automatically invokes the DB file, DB PHP. So again, we are creating 3 variables: name, $post. If you remember correctly, we gave the method as post. So this is the syntax of getting the input inside the local variable from the HTML file. I'll be using this for the next upcoming 3 variables. I'm just going to change their names. Next is email. And next is phone number. And we'll also post these codes on the chat box for your reference in case. You can also get it from the internet if you want, but these are combinations of various connections and connection codes actually. I used this for my mini project as well. So again, we are going to give print statement, that is echo. Here we need not have to give any quotation marks since we're just going to print the variable itself, the value of the variable itself. We can simply give it as a dollar variable name. And of course, we are going to give a break statement since we don't want it to be printed adjacent to each other without any space at all. You can also use the quotation mark to leave space and print it beside each other, but I like it to be on the next line rather. Next is our email. I forget giving these semicolons, but you guys please watch out. Because even missing one simple dot or semicolon or quotation can mess up your code then. Next is phone. And here we can, again, I told you, we have to focus on each and every letter. Okay, we are defining another variable called the SQL. So over here, we are going to give a command, the SQL command. If you know SQL language well, you might recognize this command. That is insert into particular table name. Our table name is going to be details. Remember, our table name is going to be details, which we have not created yet. We'll be creating in a moment after completing this code. So, the values inside the coming up brackets are nothing but the values or the names which will be giving on in the table actually. Those are going to be email, home, use, and we'll be giving those local variables inside this in order to indicate that these values must be stored inside those particular attributes of the table, that is name, email, phone number. Using the same attributes might be a bit confusing, but it's just for the reference purpose. And although I'm distinguishing both of them by giving it like giving the first letter of the local variable in capital letter and those foreign variables in small letters, completely in small letters. Also make sure to give these in quotations since the values will be considered inside the brackets. Okay, again we are going to give an if condition in order to check whether the condition runs smoothly or not. If it does, the user registration, whether it's successful or not, will be displayed. So first I'm going to check if the user connection Okay, I'll just go skip and show you the code itself because I guess I've consumed so much of the time now. So this is how the code will look like. If you see over here, I have given a function again. If I have given a exclamatory mark in front of the function, indicating that if the function's result is not successful, this particular statement that user registration was not successful should be printed, and if it is successful, the user registration is successful should be printed. And the header here is nothing, it's a function that will automatically refresh the screen and move to the registration page within 4 seconds. So let us get down to the execution of this program. Okay, I've already created a folder because it's pretty easy to do it that way. So all you have to do is go to the local disk, that is your disk in which you have installed your WAMP. Inside that, you have to move to the www folder. Inside here, you can paste this folder. This directory will be your web page. Okay, we also have to create a table. Okay, now we'll be creating the variables. First name, second email. If you see over here, I've already created all those. That's why it's appearing on the, automatically appearing. So for name, I'm going to give varchar, and actually for everything, I'll be giving varchar because varchar is a type which allows you to type both number and text like alphabets. Okay, I'll be giving length as that is the size of the particular variable as you do in other languages. So that is it. Here AI is nothing but auto increment. I don't think we need any auto increment on all these attributes. So I'll just go ahead and save it. So as I told you before, it's pretty simple to create a database and table inside this PHP. That is the reason, that is the major reason I'm using XAMPP server. Also, I can use XAMPP server as well, but XAMPP doesn't go well with my laptop, so I have chose XAMPP server. It gave me a lot of problems. So if you see over here, a project has been appeared. Now I'm going to go ahead, give a slash in front of the IP address and type my directory name, that is my folder name, demo pgm. Okay. When I enter it, the screen automatically directs it to the index of the HTML. That is, here over here, if you see, I've saved my HTML file as index.html. When you save your front page or the first page as index.html, when you just enter the directory name, it will be directly redirected to the front HTML page, that is index.html. So let us now go ahead and give the details into it. I'm giving my, okay, I'll give Jayashree's name. Okay, I'll give this as my email ID. Okay, and now on submit, see the database has been created and these details were stored inside the table and this registration was successful, was displayed. If you go and check it on your table, you might see these details being entered. See over here, Jayashree and her email and her phone number. So this is how you basically create a HTML program with CSS and connect to the database and use it to fetch and import data into it. So PHP is one of the easiest ways to connect to database and use it. I hope I made it clear, and if at all anything, you can ask me now. Yeah. Okay, some of the questions are being answered by Jayashree and another member from the college. So I'll also post these programs for you as documents on chat box, so you can refer to it. So that's it about web development. Hope you all are clear, and if at all, if you have any doubts or queries, please feel free to ask. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Oh, that is nice actually. Even XAMPP works fine, just like XAMPP server. But since it gave me a little trouble with my laptop, I chose to use XAMPP. Both are of the same for the same purpose, but developed by different developers. That's the only difference actually. You can very well use XAMPP or RAMP. It's up to you. Any queries?
Okay, thank you, Vaishnavi and Jayashree, for your valuable programming things that relate with the PHP as well as HTML. Really, it would have informative sessions for all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity, ma'am. Really, we appreciate the opportunity you gave us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pam. So, okay, participants, now you can get the feedback link from the chat box. And now we move on to the Kahoot quiz, which is a very important session. So just move on to the screen share.